Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day in front of this majestic courthouse where justice is dispensed every day without bias or favor. In order to become a judge in this state, an individual must be nominated by the Judicial Nominating Commission. And from that list, the governor must select an appointment. The Judicial Nominating Commission is comprised of a bipartisan appointment system. The Speaker, the Senate President, the Governor, the Senate Minority Leader, and the House Minority Leader all have appointments to the Judicial Nominating Commission. Back in June, late June, the House Minority Caucus submitted a list of highly qualified candidates to the governor for the House Minority Caucus's membership appointment on the Judicial Nominating Commission. Before we did that, for 18 months preceding, we have met continuously with representatives of minority groups throughout the state of Rhode Island. We spoke with them about how to fix the multitude of problems they face, from employment to education to judicial reform. And the common frame that we heard was that there is a lack of diversity on our bench. Now, we're lucky in this state to have a judiciary, a top-notch judiciary. We cannot deny the experiences of the thousands of members of minority communities that come through our courthouses and don't see people on the bench that look like them. And we'd be foolish to not recognize that maybe those people think the justice system isn't operating properly, that maybe they're not receiving the justice they deserve because they do not see a diversified bench. And now it's interesting, when you read the judicial nominating statute, it requires appointing authorities, the House Minority Office, the Senate Minority Office, the Speaker, the Senate President, and the Governor to appoint a diversified Judicial Nominating Commission. Upon our initial submission, there was not one member of a minority community on the Judicial Nominating Commission. And further, the Judicial Nominating Commission is required to appoint a diversified bench, to use all reasonable efforts to appoint a diversified bench. So for years, our state leaders have failed in their statutory responsibility to diversify our Judicial Nominating Commission, and we also do not have a diversified bench. And we've heard the calls of community activists and our colleagues and people across this state about the need to have a diversified bench, especially now with a pending Supreme Court appointment. So pursuant to our statutory authority back at the end of June, the House Minority Caucus submitted a list of 3 highly qualified minority community members to the governor for appointment to the Judicial Nominating Commission. Despite repeated efforts to communicate with the governor's office, they have refused to appoint any one of our submissions, and they have refused to even communicate with this office about the pending appointment. So, at the end of August, we submitted 3 more highly qualified members of minority communities to the governor for her appointment. And it's important to note that under the Judicial Nominating Commission Act, the governor has 14 days to appoint one of our 3 nominees, and she continues to refuse that statutory obligation. Now, we went through great lengths to find diversified, highly qualified candidates to serve on the Judicial Nominating Commission. We have Black, Hispanic, Asian, straight, gay, Democrat, Independent, Republican. We have provided her a broad cross-section of minority community representation, but the governor has refused to act on those nominations. And frankly, with the pending judicial appointments, her failure to follow the Judicial Nominating Commission statute calls into question the pending processes for these judges. Look, we understand that sometimes politics, you can't take politics out of politics, and sometimes there's politics when we're nominating judges. But the people of Rhode Island amended our state constitution, Article 10, to require an independent judicial nominating commission. The people required that. And part of that was to provide the Republican Caucus, the Democrat Caucus, the House, the Senate, and the governor, all with a say about who serves on the Judicial Nominating Commission. And right now, the governor is subverting the people's will by refusing to appoint one of our highly qualified nominees. And frankly, it's doing a disservice to the people of the state of Rhode Island, the minority communities in the state of Rhode Island, who for a long time have been calling for a diversified judiciary. It appears they can't even get a diversified Judicial Nominating Commission. And I think it's doing great harm. Not only is it unlawful, it is immoral. And it really calls into question the Supreme Court appointment we have, the Superior Court appointment we have, and the Family Court appointment we have. So we've tried to work with the governor's office, probably 10 to 15 unreturned calls since early July. And unfortunately, we have to go public now with what we see as a failure of the governor to uphold her statutory duty to appoint the Republican nominee to the Judicial Nominating Commission. And we are publicly demanding that she follow her statutory obligation and appoint one of our highly qualified members of minority communities that we have submitted to her. Right now, she has 3 highly qualified members of minority communities sitting, waiting on her desk for appointment. She has an obligation to fulfill our seat on the Judicial Nominating Commission before the interviews in 10 days commence for the Supreme, Superior, and Family Courts. And unfortunately, we have to go public with this failure of the governor's office and shine some sunlight on what's going on in the hopes that it will be remedied. So we thank you for joining us today, and we hope that through public pressure, we can achieve compliance with the law by our executive branch. Thank you very much. If anyone else has something to add, please do. Thank you for everybody for joining us today. Good day.